I hope you're live too. However you watch this, in person, live, by video, I'm just so glad you're here for another day of Bhagavad Gita Sadhana. We're in the 60s for the days. Kudos to you. As I keep mentioning, we're approaching an important holiday, and leading up to it, I'm giving some discussions that might not be as uplifting, perhaps, as previous ones. And the topic overall for several days is going to be challenges to Samatvam, which is the overall theme of our year-long practice. Samatvam meaning equanimity, or more literally translated, the ability to just be your true self no matter what you're faced with. So one of the challenges is inspired by the moon. The moon is going to be full tomorrow. And this I understand, although I haven't caught up with the news, we've gone back to the moon. So the full moon can be so beautiful and bright and inspirational. How can we see it as a symbol of a challenge to Samatvam? Well, when the moon is full and bright, at its highest glory, where is there to go from there but to dwindle? I think the same thing on the summer solstice. Many people go, "Oh, it's the summer solstice," and I think it just means the days are going to start getting shorter. Wah! And we can apply that to our lives. Many of us get to a point in our career, our profession, our practice, or our life where we feel like we've reached the highest. And it's thrilling. This is what Arjuna is facing on the battlefield. He is at his most potent as a warrior. He is at his most dangerous. He is at his most glorious. And he knows that this battle ahead of him will be the battle of his life. And then, wait a minute, where's there to go from there? Even if they win, he and his brothers settle into ruling a kingdom. And you don't often get as many accolades for that as for triumphing against all odds. So this is part of Arjun's concern. What's interesting is Arjun's name means light, and Krishna's name can be translated as dark. So now Arjun goes to the darkness within where his true soul resides, and he's asking for guidance. How do I keep going knowing that this might be my greatest moment? And one of the things we have to learn to do, perhaps, is to stop labeling in our mind that something is the great, the fullest, the best, because it really doesn't do us or the world around us any favors. For example, a generic version of that is I keep hearing about how I think it was my grandfather's generation was the greatest generation. Like, greatest for what? For maybe not knowing about what they're doing was causing pollution, maybe for not for their race policies, not for their policies against people who were different, not for tolerance. I mean, I can see the point that there were a lot of achievements, but to call that generation the greatest, what does that do for the rest of us that come after? I mean, it doesn't motivate us, does it? And now, the next generation, I've heard people labeling this next generation as a bunch of snowflakes and wimps. And what good does that do us? How does that inspire them? If you were called that your whole life, how would you feel? So from a more personal point of view, I remember in high school, which I detested, my mother saying to enjoy high school because these are the best years of your life. And I thought, oh my gosh, if it's downhill from here, that's horrible. What am I going to do with my life? I faced challenges because I wasn't, attracted to who I should be attracted to, and I didn't fit stereotypical gender roles. But what I found out in my own experience is that actually life just keeps getting better. This is for me. I keep progressing my practice. I keep learning more about the world. I keep expanding my horizons and taking on new challenges. And for me, life is just getting better. So I'm glad I didn't listen to that whole idea that I'd peaked in high school and was just, that's something our culture kind of stresses, is that youth is when we're the best. And then in everything we go down, our memory goes down, our physical ability goes down. This is not the case in many cultures. And causes a disconnect. In many cultures that are not so modern or Western, the older you are, the more revered you are. You've got more wisdom. I read once about, and I'm not sure if this is true, I can't remember the reference, but an indigenous group in South America that believed that the older you got, the better you ran. And because they believed that, the best runners in their tribal unit were the older people. So, and I've seen this actually in yoga. People get to what they think is their peak practice, their most wonderful meditative practice, and then they spend the rest of their time trying to recreate that instead of going, well, what's beyond that? So I invite you today to contemplate your belief about have you peaked in any way, and how is that affecting you? And is it true? Is it true? By whose standards is it true? And today we're dedicating the practice to the moon by any and all of its his, her, their names, which some are listed in the summary below. If you'd like a mudra to welcome the full moon, mandala mudra. Right hand sits in the left, thumbs come together, making a circle. Fullness, wholeness. Let's experience our wholeness today, shall we? Ta-da. Let's switch sides. Preparing for our meditative practice, mandala, a mudra of fullness and wholeness, if you'd like. See you in 5. Welcome back. Welcome back. Today was the best ever being here with you. I had the best practice, or did I? Hopefully, we'll continue to grow together as we go along this journey. I'm open to it. Are you? See you tomorrow. Until then.